This is Dawn Esparza, independent distributor with GelMoment. Today I'm going to be showing you our simple, non-damaging removal process. So I have everything laid out here. I have our lovely nail art mat to help protect my table. I have our remover clips, which are not necessary for removal, but they are very beneficial in that they help hold the pad more firmly to your nail during the soaking process. I have our remover pads. These are Dahlia, which are lightly scented with lavender. It's not a strong scent at all. I have our nail file and buffer, cuticle pusher, and a watch because we are definitely going to time how long our fingernails are soaking. So I have my nod to St. Patrick's Day manicure still on, but I recently got some new top coats that I really am excited to try. So I'm going to go ahead and show you removal of this, which will be a good demonstration of what it's like to take off the glitter polishes and then also nail art, which can generally be a bit more difficult to remove just because of the glitter and also because of multiple coats. But the new remover pads work really well. So to begin, I'm going to prepare each of my pads by separating them. Then you tear off the top of the packet. And if you'll notice on one side, there's a clear strip that you can peel off and it reveals a bit of stickiness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that to 5 pads because it's much easier to do it before you have pads and clips all over your fingers. So there's 2. 3. 4. And we'll do our last one. And 5. Now, one extra step that I like to do, but is not necessary, I can tend to have skin that dries out a bit faster, so I get the cuticle serum or moisturizing nail oil or even olive oil or coconut oil. You could probably even use a bit of Vaseline if you wanted, and I only put it on the skin surrounding my nail, and that's just to act as a little bit of a barrier between my nail or my finger skin and the pad itself. Okay, set that aside. So now what I'm going to do is I'll get my first pad, I'll turn the sticky side face down, and then I slip my finger into the pad with my nail under the pad. And you can stick your finger all the way in if you wish. You can keep it somewhat out. It just kind of depends on your own preference. And then you work to fold it around your finger, and the sticky strip helps to keep it closed. And you could leave it there if you don't have the remover clips, but it might take a little bit longer to soak. If you have the clip, you simply open it, slip it on your finger, and then you clip it close to where it's comfortable. And then you repeat that on each of your nails. I like to fold over and mush the tip just a bit. Remember, sticky side down, pad on top of your nail. Mush the tip. And then one more. I find that my thumb is the most awkward one to put on. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's just the way that your hands have to move. And slip that on, make it snug, and then we will wait just 5 minutes, and then we will check to see how the polish is doing. Okay, it has now been 5 minutes that my nails have been soaking in our dahlia pads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the first finger that I put a pad on. I'll remove the clip and the pad all together and just simply set it down. And then I'll use the flat edge of our cuticle pusher to very gently try to start scraping the polish. You don't want to push down because you don't want to damage or gouge into the nail bed. And you can see, even though this is one of our sparkle polishes, it is just coming right off after just 5 minutes of soaking. If you have dry nails or damage to your nails, it may take a little bit longer to soak. In that case, if the polish isn't coming off easily, then you simply want to slip the pad back on and wait another minute or two, not another 5 minutes, but just a minute or two, and then check your polish again. It should not take more than 10 minutes for the removal pads to do their work. If it is taking longer than that and you're still having trouble, go ahead and contact me and we can do a bit of troubleshooting. Sometimes I like to use my nails to get into the nooks and crannies there. If you have any bit of residue that's left over, use the gray side of our file and buffer and you can just work to get the residue off. You don't want to press hard because the point is not to actually buff the nail, but just to knock the surface of the polish down a bit. Okay, that has just a little bit of residue left on it, but I think I'm just going to leave that and work on it after I do removal for all the nails. So what I like to do is, now that I know I'm going to use these remover pads for the other hand, I start lining them up. You could use the little hands on the nail art mat, but this came off my pinky, so I'm going to put it over here to be the pinky for my other hand. So then when I remove the ring finger, I'm going to put it next to that, and that way I'll know which remover clip fits on which finger on my other hand. So again, you take the flat edge of our cuticle pusher, and it's not a vertical motion. You want to have it almost parallel with the angle of your finger. And you simply scrape the polish off. Again, you want to be careful not to gouge into your nail or accidentally scrape nail up. You let the pads do the work. If you know that you're going to be doing a manicure right away, you can take this time to go ahead and push your cuticle back since you're already there. All right, so this next finger, these two fingers only had one coat of a solid polish and one coat of a glitter polish. This next finger has 2 coats of a solid, plus it has the gray silvery nail art, plus the jewel, and then 2 coats of our clearly frisky, which can be a little bit trickier to get off just because there's so many layers there. So you can tell already that it's not coming off as easily as the 2 simple layers, but it is still coming off. So this is proof that our new pads really do the work. Got the jewel off. If your polish is not coming off this easily, then we definitely need to have a chat to see if we can't figure out how to make it a better process for you. Sometimes I do find that because of the capping process, the polish is thicker at the tip of the nail and it can be a bit more difficult to get off. And in that case, if you know it's not going to come off without taking nail with it, you want to put the remover pad back on and just let it soak for another minute, and then it should just come right off. I think I am going to put the pad back on this one. Also, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the underside of your nail. You can very lightly, basically you're just dragging the cuticle pusher across that. You want to be careful that you're not actually shaving off nail from the underside. All right, so because that spot is not coming off very easily, I was going to say first I'm going to try my fingernail, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but in this case it worked. The reason I like to use my own fingernail for the tiny bits is because it's softer than our cuticle pusher, so I know that it won't dig into the nail bed, but it is effective in finishing the job, even on the edges there. All right, so I just continue the process of taking, oh my, look at that. I continue the process of taking off the clips and lining them up. Wow. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? That's always like a little bonus when that happens. If you do not have the new formulation of remover pads, you can go ahead and finish up using the old pads if you'd like, understanding that you need to be gentle with your nails. But if they just really aren't working for you, or you keep running into dry pads, then go ahead and contact me and we can order you a new box so that you can enjoy the removal process and so that your nails can stay in a healthy state. The less work the cuticle pusher has to do, the better it is for your nail. Now this is a great example, let me get it to focus, of how I do actually have a little bit of damage at the tip of my nail. Sometimes the tips of my nails peel. It's been a problem my entire life. Using GelMoment products has definitely made it better, but there's the occasional time where it still does peel. So the polish likes to stick in those little ridges where it's peeled. So you want to make sure that you don't use the cuticle pusher to push that direction because you will peel your own nail. So sometimes if I know I'm going to paint my nails, I will just leave it. Sometimes I try to buff it just a little bit to see if it will come off. But I would rather leave it and have a tiny bit of color than damage my nail further and make the problem worse or prolonged. So I'm just going to leave that, and then we just have one final nail. Ooh, fun. Look at that. There's a big old flake in there. And that will be the thumb for my other hand. Oops. So after I finish removal on the other hand, I would definitely wash my hands. If you know you're going to go straight into another manicure, I also like to use our Eclipse exfoliating gel just around the cuticles and on the skin around my nails, just to give it some TLC and as a good way to get any remaining residue of the pad off, just because it does affect my skin by making it a little bit more dry. But I've learned that if I use the Eclipse, it works beautifully. And then I would use either the cuticle serum, the nail oil, or our Revitalize to get an extra punch of moisture on my nails. Again, this is an area where I have some nail damage, where it peeled off just a bit, which is why the polish is wanting to stick. I'm trying to get it to focus again. So I'm not going to keep digging at that because I'll just be digging nail away. I'm just going to leave it and let it grow out. And there you have it. That is our easy removal process, and look how healthy my nails are. I love that GelMoment takes care of your nails and also makes them beautiful.